If you're trying to break into software engineering right now, here's a terrifying reality. Entry-level jobs have dropped 70% between 2022 and 2026. New grads now represent just 7% of all big tech hires, and now you're competing with laid-off engineers that have 5+ years of experience for those same entry-level roles. So in this video, I'm going to share what's actually changing and what you need to do differently. Because if you keep using the same old approach, you're going to spend months making no progress, and you're going to see so many opportunities pass you by. Let's start with what's actually happening. A huge amount of code now is being AI generated, with top tech companies estimating over 80% of new code being completely AI generated. And if you think that number is high, CEOs are saying that that number is only going to go up. So the obvious question is, are engineers actually getting replaced? Here's the thing. AI is incredible for writing code that works. But the thing is, it's not good at telling whether the code it wrote is correct for that specific context. There are countless examples where AI will write code that seems amazing, but if you actually dive deep, you'll realize that it's super inefficient and it just won't work at scale. Architectural design decisions, large-scale refactors, and understanding why code is being written, that's where human engineers are still needed. The result of all of this is that more than 50% of open roles right now are either senior or above, but they need just as many, if not more people to guide the AI and actually make important decisions. Which brings me to what this actually means for you to get hired. The job search process is changing in a way that most people haven't realized yet, and if you miss this, it's gonna cost you. Companies don't just wanna know if you can code anymore. They wanna know if you can code with AI. And they're testing for this directly in the interview processes. On the behavioral side, interviewers are increasingly asking questions about how you use AI in your day-to-day. Questions like, walk me through when you used AI in a recent project. How do you verify AI-generated code? When do you decide to write something manually versus using AI to do it? All these are becoming the standard. These questions are showing up in real interviews at real companies. And if you haven't thought about them before, you're going to completely fail them. On the technical side, the shift is happening too. Questions are moving away from general leak code questions to questions that can test your ability and see if you can actually work with AI. Things like, can you spot a bug in this AI generated code? Can you verify whether this architecture decision that the AI suggested actually makes sense? These are the questions that companies are now probing for. So being proficient with AI coding tools, actually using them, knowing their limitations, and working with them day to day isn't optional anymore. It's quickly becoming a baseline expectation like knowing Git or SQL used to be. If you're not flexing that muscle, you gotta start now. And beyond just preparing for interviews, there's one more thing that most people completely skip as one of the highest leverage moves you can make in the job search market right now. And that's building in public. Let me tell you what happened to me. I started posting consistently on LinkedIn, sharing projects that I was working on, breaking down new things that I was learning, and just general stuff about software engineering and recruiting. Nothing crazy or insanely polished. I was just showing my work. And what happened next genuinely surprised me. I started getting reached out to directly, not from random recruiters with the same copy-paste messages, from engineers and recruiters at big tech companies and unicorn startups who were actually interested in what I built and wanted to talk. It happened multiple times, and every single time it started because somebody saw what I was working on and was genuinely interested. That's the thing people don't realize about building in public. It completely flips the dynamic. Instead of you sending out hundreds of applications and hoping that somebody gets back to you, people start coming to you directly. And when that happens, you skip a huge part of the recruiting process because you already have a warm connection. They already know that you're a pretty qualified candidate and you can do the work because they've seen it themselves. Almost every major company will have dedicated LinkedIn recruiters, so being active helps a lot. There's another reason to build in public beyond the outreach though. When you have to explain something publicly, it forces you to understand it. You can't fake it because people will call you out. That accountability makes you learn faster and grow more. And all of that will translate directly to your interviews because you've already talked about your work in a clear and compelling way. I know putting yourself out there is uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable for me too, but the upside is there and there's no downside, so you should just start posting. So here's where we are. The job market is genuinely hard right now. Entry-level roles are shrinking, competition is up, and the bar has just completely changed. But you have to remember that companies still need skilled engineers who can use AI efficiently, communicate their thinking, and learn fast. The recruiting process is starting to reflect that now too. Both technical and behavioral interviews are starting to test for judgment, not just if you know syntax. If you're not using AI tools such as Claude Code in your workflow, you're already starting to fall behind. The old playbook of mass applying and praying isn't gonna work anymore. But if you adapt to what's changing, then you have a real shot. Let me know in the comments what you're making right now, and if you want me to go into detail about any part of this video, drop it in the comments and let me know.